Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is okay and that you're making progress on your project. What I have here is an assignment from one of your classmates, and I wanted to show you how she did this so that you have an idea of what is it that I want. First of all, what she did is she selected a company that she really likes and something that she's excited to talk about. You should do the same. Select a company that you really like. And on the first slide here, by the way, this is the uh, Google Presentations application, right? This is part of the Google suite that you can use if you have a Google account, a Gmail account. So go ahead and create a Google Presentations file. And the first page, you can give an introduction of the company. In this case, Republic Records. As you can see here, she gave me some facts about this. I made some comments on her work here. I made some positive feedback here, and also I asked her to do some extra work, like give a conclusion or something. On the right hand side, you can see my comments. Also, what she did is also she added audios to her presentation, which is what I would like you to do. And if I click here on the icon, where it has the little speaker icon, I click on it, and
Republic Records is
you
an
can
American record label owned by Universal Music Group, UMG. It
can you hear that?
was founded by Avery Lippman and Monte Lippman as an independent label.
All right. So this is pretty easy to do. All you have to do is get some information on YouTube as to how to add MP3 files to your Google Presentations file. Okay. So she went on the second page here, and what she's doing is describing core competency. What is core competency? And she identified, after reading and doing some research about the company, she identified this company's core competency on slide number 2. Then she went on and she selected 5 terms that were interesting in the case, or out of her research, she found 5 terms and she described them here. This is the objective number 2 section. Okay, so as you can see, there's an icon here. She explained in this. It's important that you connect the dots here. You draw a parallel between what you're doing and the 6 learning objectives at all times. Moving on to the next section, she came up with some sales and she described a graph here. And basically, she went over the year, in a couple of minutes, describing what happened to the trends. Okay. So make sure you do this like a table, not a table, but a line graph with some numbers. You punch in some numbers, and also as a requirement, you are supposed to come up with a pie chart as well. Okay. The second section, she explains month after month what happened, to the company. And in slide number 6, then she goes on to the K section, the quantitative skills and data sufficiency capabilities, section of the project. And now she posts a problem here. Now this is fictitious. I mean, she's not getting any data, any real data here. She's just punched in some numbers. She tried to make the point that the company has problems reaching its break-even point. And what's important here is that she's describing the current situation of the company and the desired situation, right? So what is it that you have to do in order to break even selling less units of a product, or more or less downloads, or whatever product your company sells or whatever service it provides? Okay. So the next section, she talks about working capital. The same thing. Basically, she describes what are the company's current assets and liabilities, and she calculates it. In her case, she identified the fact that the company has a negative working capital, what you should do as well, negative working capital. And then on the next page, you're going to propose a strategy. What is it that the company can do? What can the company do in order to improve working capital? So you need, when you subtract current assets minus current liabilities, you should be able to get a positive number and not a negative number. So you have a liquidity in your company, right? So she came up with some fictional example, and you can read it here, So you have to be creative when you create your own project, okay? For the working capital section, she shows here that, um, well, we talked about this already. Uh, After implementing a strategy, if you can read about this, then she came up with the fact, or basically, her strategy brought about an increase in working capital, and now it's 95,000, much higher, right? Last slide, it's an overview. She made a comment here about the 6 competencies and the company, and that she enjoyed learning a lot from this case. And this is what I want you to do. I mean, this last assignment uh, is aimed at having you experience the creative process of coming up with a business case in which the focus is exercising the 6 communicational competencies. Okay, so was a very good project. If you can do something similar to this, you will be in good shape. Okay, so see you around.